Hello YouTube, Bushcraft Woods Devil here. This afternoon I was tagged by KNIFE Chats with Tobias YouTube channel, and if you haven't visited KNIFE Chats with Tobias, you really should. He has a lot of knowledge and a vast collection of knives, pocket knives, and he shares a lot of knowledge. I really enjoy his channel and I learn a lot from watching it. He probably knows more than anybody I've ever heard about Boy Scout knives and Cub Scout knives. Just a really knowledgeable gentleman, so I can't say enough. Check out his channel. Okay, so he tagged me. He had been tagged by a YouTube channel, Big Red EDC. And that tag was apparently which folding knife from your collection would you grab and put in your bug out. So apparently it was on a 2-minute warning, on the fly, grab and go type of a situation. And you can find that video, search Big Red EDC, and you can find the video. And he showed several knives that he owns, and so then Tobias's video was about the folding knife that lives in your EDC bag, or that you would put in your EDC bag. So it seemed to me there's a couple of different topics here. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I have to answer both to really make sense of what I do. Now, every day I EDC some kind of a folding knife, and the ones that I typically carry when I work, I usually have a large folder, but I also carry a multi-tool. My primary large folders, the one you saw in my most recent video, the Cold Steel Voyager Tanto, and I'll bring that up closer. So really an excellent knife, really thick spine, solid lockup, very comfortable handle. This is about a 4-inch or better Tanto style blade. Like this knife a lot. One which I carry very often is my Emerson, and this is the CQB 7VW. So it's a little compact version of the Emerson. Very light, very lively. I like that one a lot. I have a Applegate Fairbairn, and to be honest, I don't carry it very often. It's it's almost too nice to carry, but I do carry it on occasion. I really consider it more of a fighter than a working utilitarian knife, and maybe that's not the case, but that is kind of how I view it. The thing I really don't like about this knife is the sheath. The sheath is just an atrocity, and I hope they've redesigned it. This is one of the early ones that was first made, and it has a really sloppy sheath, and so I'm not real fond of that. And then finally, this is just a little sweetheart, is the SE Zancudo, and I really like this knife. It's very compact, very comfortable in the hand, and very comfortable in the pocket. And this would be a fine blade to grab on your way out the door if you had to bug out and head for the hills on the fly. I don't think you could go wrong. All of these are locking blades, which I believe you want. And I'm not even going to touch on the little bitty guys, like Swiss Army knives and like that. But I kind of, looking at Big Red EDC channel, I kind of got the impression he was talking about large folders, and that was what I thought I would address. So as I said, I carry one of these in my pocket every day, And you know, when I'm going out the door, I'm slipping one in my pocket. But there's also what lives in my bug out bag. Now my bug out bag, I don't really have what I would call a bug out bag. What I have actually is my trail bag. And this is the bag that lives in my truck and goes with me out on the trail. It weighs about 15 pounds with kit in it. It has just about everything I could possibly need to spend a comfortable night out on the trail if I had to. And I see that as just the trail version of an urban bug out bag. Everything that's in this bag could be used in an urban setting or a bug out setting. And that's why it lives in the truck, because if I really had to become a leather tramp and take to the road and abandon my vehicle, this would be the pack I would grab. And so it's always ready to go. Now, like I said, these knives down here, one of them is going to be in my pocket, and probably I'm going to have a multi-tool on my belt. But just on the off chance, and it has happened that I have a day where I go out the door and forget to put something in my pocket, there are tools that live in this bag full time, and I will show you those. I'm filming this indoors, by the way, because they're building a home across the street and it's noisy. So this folding knife lives full-time in my bag. It never leaves there, and in that way I then have a lockblade folder for tasks. It was given to me by my daughter, and what brand is it? It's a Coleman. So it's not a high-end knife, but it's probably a 440 series steel, and it takes surprisingly good sharpening. One thing that's kind of odd about it is that the blade is seen through this handle here, and I think that's not a real great feature of this. Interestingly, I've been able to slip paracord through this and just cut it without deploying the blade, and I don't know if that's just by accident or if that was a consideration. But the thing about this is it lives in here. It's not something I'm going to miss or really care particularly about. It's not something I EDC every day. It's not a real quality blade, although it's very smooth, and it's comfortable in the hand. So this little knife lives full time in this this pack. Okay. Other tools. Big bag of medical, survival items, and a fire bag. Also living inside the pack, don't laugh, it's the Bear Grylls Gerber knife. I know some of you are rolling your eyes and going, are you kidding me? Bear Grylls? Yeah, actually it's a surprisingly good knife. And not a lot of money. It was not particularly expensive. It's got some interesting things about it. This is a fixed blade, of course, and the primary gist of this video is to talk about folding blades. Gerber themselves say that they think that they left some money on the table when they came up with this knife design. I believe it. It wasn't particularly expensive, and it's a darn good knife. Will it hold up over the long run? I don't know. We'll see. But so far it's batoned and done camp tasks. So that lives in the bag. And then, what else do we have? Okay. Two big pouches. Folding shovel. Again, I know this is deviating from the topic. Handles screw together. And I have a shovel with a pick end. Yep, that lives in the bag. And then I have an axe, folding axe, well, collapsing, screw together. And this has been surprisingly handy and useful. So I know this is migrating from the topic of which folder would you pick, but I just wanted to show some of the tools that live in this bag. But again, to conclude, whoomp, bag fall over. One of these knives is going to be on my person all the time. The stuff in the bag is just really backup. And yeah, I would pick either the Zancudo, the Applegate, the Emerson, or the Cold Steel Voyager Tanto Large. One of these would be in my pocket at any given time when the poop hits the fan. So there you have it. Knife Chats with Tobias. Thanks for the tag, and hope this is kind of interesting to you and gives you a little insight into how I think. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you all later.